I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it, I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.
Well, here we go. Welcome back to the Caffeinated Cryptid, home of the caffeine-fueled conversations combining incredible scientific perspectives and paranormal research, captivating stories from eyewitnesses that experienced high strangeness firsthand. I am your host, Bobby Dizzle, the MC of this here train wreck. I've interviewed hundreds, if not dozens, or dozens, if not hundreds, of people who have had real paranormal experiences and real scientists. And I'm ready for tonight to get this party started. We have Miss June Lundgren, veteran and psychic medium. Lundgren? I said that right. I'm so terrified I'm going to say your name wrong. With over 50 years of paranormal experience, she's even communicated with spirits and animals as a child. June is also an animal communicator, healer, nurse, demon seer, and an international paranormal investigator. And she currently works as a nurse and is founding member of Ghost and GirlsParanormal.com. That's in the description. And before I get started on the main topic, you know, you were a nurse, EMT in the Army, or in the military?
Yeah, I spent 2 in the Army and 3 in the Air Force.
So I've had a lot of hospice nurses on, and they have experiences with the patients.
Yeah.
While doing, obviously, they're right there when the switch is flipped. But did you ever have any experiences with the souls while you're doing the nursing and EMT work?
Oh, always. Yeah, it's, you come on shift and work, especially the night shift.
Mm-hmm.
You come on, you find somebody dead or somebody's dying, and it's like, okay, or you have to take them down to the morgue because they just died, and it's like, okay,
you gotta wheel them down. Yeah,
and then you get down there, and then there's ice in the tray and morgue tray, and somebody has messed with it and turned it down. it's like really, give me a break.
It's funny that you said that it happens so many times, just like a regular thing that happens at a job. Who turned the morgue tray up?
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's like,
I got 3 stiffs and I can't get them in the morgue and I got to go to lunch.
Except for the time that the demon tried to take this guy's soul. That was quite interesting.
Really? What happened there?
I was working ER, and one of the tech sergeants on the base said, we've got a guy that's been missing for a couple of days. Can you, come over? We're going to open up his room in the barracks. And I'm like, oh, you just want us to find the body. There you go.
Yep.
So he opens the door, stands back. I'm not coming in with you. I'm like, oh, fine, see if I care. And he opens up the door and we go in, and the guy's like curled up in a ball against the wall. And I couldn't tell whether he was alive or dead. So the closer I get to it, and then all of a sudden I see a demon over in the corner up on the ceiling. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I told Boggs, the tech that was with me, I said, we need to get this guy out of here now. So we take him back to the ER, and we put him in an exam room. And I go out to get something to start an IV. And I come back in, and the demon's leaning over him, trying to pull his life force out of him. And I looked at it, and my alter ego come forward, Ariel, and she said, this one belongs to us. And whatever he saw, he was gone in a hurry. And he was a chaplain's assistant. Someone put a PCP in his soda, for God's sakes.
What?
He wouldn't hurt a fly.
So he wasn't like a patient. He was just a dude.
He was a dude. He was a chaplain's assistant, and he went to a party, and somebody had put PCP in his soda.
Oh my Lord.
He was out of it for 3 days. It was bad.
I
It
bet.
almost killed him. Yeah. And I went to see him before he went home. He got out because he had PTSD from that. I mean, come on. And he said, I had the strangest dream. He said, I dreamt that a demon was trying to take my soul, and God sent a warrior angel, a female, with a flaming sword. And he said she scared it off. And I didn't say anything to him. I said, well, God's just trying to tell you, he's got your back, so don't worry about it.
Really says a lot about what PCP does to you.
Yeah, it was horrible, the poor guy.
Now, when you see it, there is a movie about a nun that sees a demon. I don't know if you've seen clips or anything from it. Like she's just in this monastery,
Okay.
and she'll walk into a room and there's a demon's like standing there. She's like, yeah, the demon's in here. I'm just wondering if it's similar to that.
No, you're looking at Hollywood.
Obviously it's not.
Hollywood sees a demon as most people do, where it's, most humans see a demon as like half goat with the horns.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a goat man.
Yeah, but that's not what they really look like. I see them in their true form, which is a lot different. The true form of a demon is much like the true form of an archangel. Archangel 7 foot tall, 12-foot wingspan, but that's where the similarities end, because the demons are shades of black and gray. They have no distinguishable features on their what passes for a face, except the eyes. The old demons and Lucifer have golden eyes, and the lesser demons and the minions have red eyes. But if you look into their eyes, you see every evil you could ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Multiply that 1,000-fold, and you will never be the same again. I've been seeing them like that since I was 4.5 years old.
That seems an awful lot like a gray alien.
Not quite. I've seen those too. No,
yeah, I was going to say.
They're better looking than the demons.
Yeah. The being in this, paranormal genre, you always hear that everything's demonic, and
oh yeah.
I don't know if I can ride that train. I mean, it sounds good. It also sounds like something a Puritan would say.
Yeah, not everything is demonic. That's where people's brain automatically goes to. Oh, it's a demon. No, it's grandma. Mm-hmm. That was grandma or Uncle Fred. It isn't any demon.
So you've been seeing them since you were 4.5 years old. What, like the first experience? How did you process that one?
Well, I saw them before that, as most people do. I saw them, as a black mass,
Mm-hmm.
puffs of smoke. But my brain switched at that time, and Michael the Archangel, who's been with me since I was born, said, don't be afraid. You're seeing them through the eyes of an angel. You're seeing them as we see them in their true form. He said, I want you to watch them. I want you to study them. I want you to learn from them. They will not be able to see you because I will cloak you, but you will be able to see them. Watch and learn, because you're going to need it when you get older. And so you're a kid, you think, oh, a game, fun, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's just the way it is.
So your imaginary friend is Michael the Archangel, like this.
Yeah, I wish he was imaginary some days.
Yeah.
He's giving me crap about it. So
Yeah, mine was like a Batman knockoff that I made up.
Mine was usually a little creepy crawly demon dude. They used to call them imps.
Yeah. A little crawling around.
Yeah, out the ceilings and up the walls,
Yeah, that's the demon thing. Like everybody goes to it. It's like in the Bigfoot world, I call it like the tactical bro. That everybody likes to be cool and say they saw Dogman instead of Bigfoot. Like Bigfoot's like Bigfoot's like the boomer cryptid. Like that's not cool anymore. It's your mom's cryptid. Of course, you saw Bigfoot. Like Dogman's demon is like when you go ghost hunting, you don't just see like an entity. I got demonic. I got 3 scratches on my leg.
Yeah. Or I tell people, I said, when you do an investigation in a place where it's known to have negative entities, what kind of idiot says, "Hey Joe, look at this. This is I saw a demon." I'm like,
so get a demon to attack us.
Yeah, let's provoke the demon. It's like, oh, don't do it. It's like I told Zach Baggins, you better stop provoking, because you're going to get screwed if you don't.
Yeah, he was one of the main examples. I was at the Sorrel Weedon House in Savannah,
Uh-huh.
and the tour guide was telling us, because got started talking about it, and he said that Zach Bagan's like faking possessions down there.
Oh God.
I'm like, come on, man. That was kind of like my virginity was taken in for those shows, because I thought they were sort of on. I knew they were kind of scripted, but sort of on the up and up. But I'm like,
Yeah.
no, not Zach. It's not Zach. He's our savior. This is like 2010. I didn't know any better. It's like when it first started. But yeah, when you said that, it reminded me of.
Yeah, when they first started, they were into finding out what was there, but that went by the wayside a long time ago.
They got Hollywood real fast.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And now he's bringing in that. What was that noise? Now he's bringing in that all those hitchhikers into his museum.
Yeah, I cleaned it out once.
You did?
Oh yeah, I went and cleaned it out back in 2018. I cleaned it out because Michael the Archangel says you're going to Vegas, and I said no, I'm not. I hate Vegas. And he's like, you're going to Vegas. I'm like, no. And then he told me that the demons were trying to open up a portal and pull the old demons that were attached to these objects out. And the reason why they were all gathered together was because the demons were having people bring all these objects to him and donate them, quote unquote, so that they could all be in one location. So I killed all the ones that were in there, but he keeps bringing in other ones. So yeah, I told him it's not going to be my lifetime ambition. Thank you.
I mean, what kind of things was manifesting it? Demons were manifesting it.
There was,
or just entities.
There were demons. There were old demons that were attached to objects, dolls. There was a gurney. There were clothes. There was the Dybbuk box, or what passed for the Dybbuk box. And there were several other ones. There were some in the basement, but the place was packed. And I told him, I said, I'll have to do it from the outside because I can't be in there with all these people and do this removal. So I did it from the outside, and then we walked through the museum to make sure they were gone afterwards. But, I didn't tell him I was going to do it. I just showed up there, and one of the guards there said, oh, I recognize you. You were in Astoria you were on the show. I'm like, yeah, that was me. Don't say anything. Keep quiet.
I wondered when I first heard about it, if like he's starting like a super spreader event for these open portals to hell, so to speak. Yeah, it's like he's that's literally the plot of The Exorcist. Is what he's doing there, and in like 10-fold, 100-fold.
Yeah, that's why the heaven sent me there to do my thing.
In Las Vegas, no less, Sin City. That's like part 3 of the Ghostbusters.
I know, right?
It's like the perfect place.
I know. I don't like Vegas because the energy there is not good at all.
This is a stupid question, a concept I'm about to say, but I've thought about it a lot, and it's not something I'm going to do. But it's like I had a business idea. Like, what if you took these old houses that were dilapidated, like barely pre-condemned, and just went in there and opened up a bunch of Ouija boards, and just had like these, and you just made haunted houses? Like, would you think that would work? I'm not going to do it.
That's the thing. A Ouija board is like it's a tool. That's all it is. You get out of it what you put into it. If your intention is to draw in demons, then that's what you're going to get. But if your intention is just to open a white light portal and allow, souls to come and go, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get something good. But white light portals are naturally occurring anyway. And then man goes along and does an investigation and opens up all these portals. And I'm like, oh, I'm too stupid to close them. Thank you. Let's just let everybody come on in, including the demons.
Yeah, it just sounds like one of those like corporate things where you met like in every show where they find like a paranormal thing and they bring it in, and like, can you just imagine like this company buying like 15 condemned houses and making haunted houses and all going awry?
Well, it's like when I went to England, and I was in England with my son, and a friend of mine lives in Florida, and she said, hey, give me a call. I said, I can. I'm in London, so So she says, well, see if you can help this woman. And I'm like, okay, fine, just send me the information. Well, she sent me information on this place called the Cage. It was a medieval witches' prison, and it was demonic. There's massive amounts of demons there that had gathered over the years, and this woman that owned it didn't know what was going on with it, and then she learned the hard way when the demons started throwing things around, and she has little kids, and they're doing nasty things, and then so she couldn't even live in the place, so she was renting it out for investigations. And I'm like, really? And I said, and she invited these guys, I think that they're called the Ouija brothers, to come in and do an investigation.
Just asking for it.
Yeah, and it just opened more. And then I told her, I said, listen, just send me a picture of the location and I'll take the demons out. I said, because I'm not going 4 hours to do it. So she sent me the picture. She said, can you really do it? I said, yes. She says, because I have a famous American psychic coming in the next day, Chris Fleming, and he doesn't deal with negatives. And I'm like, yeah, I know he doesn't. So I was on the treadmill and I did the removals, and he came in the next day, and he said, yeah, there's nothing here. I'm like, yeah, I do good work. Come on.
That seems so random. Like, hurry up and get him out of here. I got Chris Fleming. It's like a boss saying, "You got to get this clean." I got the regional manager coming.
Well, he probably paid enough to go in there.
Oh yeah. See, Angie F has a question. I usually don't get into questions, but this early in the show, but she asked how do you recover on the days you feel exhausted from all the work you do, and what's your favorite thing to eat? Okay.
If you're talking about demonic stuff,
yeah,
really, it's unless I do a bunch of them at one time, it's negligible. The energy loss is negligible. But if I do, like, sometimes I have like 4 or 5 of them to do in a day, then it takes me a day to recover. Yeah. But if I do an exorcism or something like that, it takes me a couple of days to recover.
I bet.
But I work 12 hours a day, so I'm working from home as it is as a nurse. But favorite thing to eat anymore? I have no idea. Food's just kind of negligible. I love coconut, real coconut, raw coconut. But I've lost 120 pounds, so it's like, whatever. Food's not important.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that way myself. Just not even think about it.
Yeah, you have to change the way you think about food. I'm from the era where everything revolved around food. All the holidays, everything. So you just have
I'm from the South.
Think, yeah.
Everything's food here.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas, for the first 5 years of my life, and then it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's everything is so good, and I have to read. I'm off. It's going to sound bad, but I'm off of sweet tea. I haven't had sweet tea in about 8 years.
Yeah, that's very addicting.
I used to have it for every meal, and just about every meal. And if it wasn't sweet tea, it was Mountain Dew, and I'm just off of both of them. And my liver panels, all those labs turn out good. So I'm like, yeah,
start going down.
I'm talking about 20 points in a month. It's insane.
Yeah, it's stuff is not good for you.
Yeah, it's hard because stuff's so good. I'm a foodie. I love going places and trying the local fare and fresh seafood and local barbecue. It's like a guy on PCP. It's like an addiction, man. You got to try to kick it. It's horrible. But on the subject of Bagan's hitchhiker gallery there, and I'll be gentle with this phrase because I don't want to get cursed, which is also in your talking points. But what do you think is the driving force behind Robert Duvall, and what might cause that?
He has a demonic attachment.
You think so?
Yeah, and it's a young demon who thinks it's going to have a good time.
That's just it. And Robert, I'm sorry I'm bringing you up.
Well, the younger demons, the lesser demons, they like chaos. They like the cheap thrills. They're like hormonal teenagers on a high. That's just what they do.
That story is incredible because it's 100% true. And he's in his attic and kicks his family out, and he just lives back up there with him. Wife
Yeah.
leaves him.
Yeah, leave him alone.
And now you can't take pictures of him. Didn't Zach try to buy him and bring him over there or something?
I think there was some discussion about it. Yeah.
I wouldn't go near Las Vegas if that was the case. I still don't like Key West.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole Robert Nadal thing. You see that, and people like send the pictures back and apology notes. Like, I didn't mean to, Robert.
I'd just take out the demon.
Yeah, you should go there and do it.
I should.
Take a trip to Key West.
Yeah.
Anyway, Robert, I'm sorry I mentioned you. I was very curious. No ill intent. Robert, I'm sorry. Anyway, so one of the talking points is curses. Are they real? And what is the mechanism behind it in the general sense? You think the Egyptian curses are real? The old school ones?
Well, the old school ones, there's a lot of ancient demons running around. And a lot of them are entombed under a lot of significant buildings, like the Great Pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
There's a demon entombed there. There's one under the Sphinx. There's one under, the what brain dead. There's one under the, God, I went brain dead. Anyway, they're everywhere. I mean, there's one under Alcatraz.
I'm thinking of Mayan pyramids.
Yeah, there's one under Alcatraz. So, but curses, there's two reasons for quote unquote Hollywood's curses.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a real curse like that. But it's one of two things. Either say your great grandpa pissed off somebody and the person died, and she said, I curse you to forever be, not happy or whatever, And then when she died, the soul stayed there and attached itself to the individual, to the great grandpa. And then that wasn't good enough. Then it attached itself to his son, and his son after him, and his son and his son. It's what they call a generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a demonic that will attach in much the same way. They have no sense of time. So, 100 years is a blink of an eye for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can make your life miserable, they're happy to do it.
It's like their hobby.
Yeah. You are my new hobby.
I've read that a lot of the Egyptian curses were just mold spores. When they open it up, and like they get this infection. It's been fumigating there for 1,000 years.
Yeah. I mean,
all
it took was somebody to die of a plague in the Egyptian times, and then you open it back up and it spreads again.
Mm-hmm. I love the paranormal stuff being real, but I also like when it can be applied to something actual hard like that, because that's like, it really validates it.
Yeah. You find the reason behind it, the scientific reason behind it. Yeah.
And I can't wait until our tech evolves enough that we can actually see the fourth dimension. And it might be kind of terrifying to do once you flip over. Holy shit. Flip back out.
It's not so good.
Yeah, demons and entities everywhere.
Yeah. I won't go into that.
So you can.
They're everywhere. They're literally everywhere.
Yeah, what do you think about, this is kind of an adjacent topic, and we'll get into the animal communication soon, but because that's one of the big talking points I'm curious about as well. But what do you think about like the law of attraction, manifestation, talking to the angel numbers and the guardian angels helping you out?
What do I think about them? They're real.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of the 99.9% of it's real.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that you'll learn, that I learned when I died and went to the other side, was the fact that thought becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the intention behind the thought that gives it power. In the dark realm, in the light realm, you can quote unquote manifest because thought becomes reality. And angels are real, but they're made up of complex energy with a consciousness. And so, but our human brain can only perceive them in certain ways.
Mm.
So we give them, this image of this, 7 foot tall angel with wings, because that's how we can You know, that's how our brain can, you know, make sense of it.
I've been.
But
Go ahead. Sorry.
but angelic numbers it's usually a message. You know, like
Yeah.
a bunch of ones, you know, or twos. You know, those are angelic numbers.
I've been obsessed with those for about 10 years now. I started noticing them after a bad job pay cut, and I needed to like find some relief.
Mm-hmm.
And I started noticing something popping up, and I got to, you know, kind of pulling the thread a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am 10 years later. All they do is give me a number once.
Yeah.
And that's how I know what's going on. Before it was just like I had to get it like 10 times. Like, oh, is that something? Now it's just like, oh.
Because you're becoming more hyper aware of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And boy, they'll freak you out sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they really, like last 2 weeks ago, they started showing me something. I'm just like, what is this about? And this synchronicities happened within about 5 minutes. And like everything had this number on it that shouldn't. Just it was insane. I'm like, okay, what was that? And I'm still trying to figure that out. It was
Well, if you can't hear them, that's one way for them to be
Yeah.
able to communicate with you.
yeah, they did. They communicated it hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah, a lot of
That's
times they have to slap you upside the head.
it was encouraging. Like it was a shift from the number I was chasing,
Mhm.
the number I usually look at. So it was just like everything changed to that number at once. It's like I was in some kind of different universe for a second. Everything went quiet. But they definitely do it.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I get worried if I'm like talking to the devil or something. Like I don't know.
You would know.
Yeah,
He don't
It's
waste
like-
waste his time with humans.
or some evil spirit making me
Yeah.
go the
No.
wrong direction.
Yeah. But it depends upon if you're worth their time or not. Old demons, you rarely find them in the
Mm.
physical world because we're not worth their time and energy, you know? But the younger demons, the lessers and the shadow people, the minions, you know, and the imps and stuff, you'll find them here because they like to create chaos. They like to cause pain and destruction.
Yeah, the shadow people. I saw one blob out from behind a tree near a very active area way out in the woods once. And to this day, I'm telling myself it was just my eyes. And homeboy sitting next to me, he's like, man, you just got to embrace the woo out here. And I knew where I was. I knew why I was there.
Yeah.
But when I looked, your eyes will adjust a little. But sure, it was just like behind this tree. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. I've got a friend who's a biologist, and he likes to take edibles and discuss things, you know, the smoke circle. And one night because I can't do that, but he can. One night we got to talking about how you prepare for an experience.
Uh-huh.
And then, it's deep breaths, they generally do not hurt you. Just take it all in. Don't freak out because it makes it worse. And then one night we were out in this, I'm talking 100 miles from civilization in the woods in a tent. And I started hearing footsteps around my tent. And I'm like, this is happening. I start reciting our little mantras. Don't freak out. They can't hurt you. It's once in a lifetime. And I'm talking, it was, and then the person in the tent next to me snoring. And I'm like, holy Jesus, it's happening. And so I moved and I realized the sound I was hearing was my breath against my toboggan on my whiskers. Or stocking cap or beanie, whatever you call it.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, I was kind of disappointed for a second. I was like, damn, I had a Bigfoot by me for a second. And so I know how I would react. Like I was actually doing that in real, like it was like a real life train that I did not know.
Yeah, my husband saw it. My husband's one of these people. He's an auditor, so he's left-brained.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't touch it, feel it, or see it, it doesn't exist. And we went down to the coast to visit my cousin and her husband. And we're at the timeshare, and I'm upstairs, and he's downstairs, and our son's downstairs. And then I hear him bellowing at me, get down here. There's something here. So I felt something. The atmosphere changed. It got heavier. I'm like, oh crap. So I run downstairs, and he's pointing at the shadow person, and he says, "What the hell is that?" And then once after he said it, it just like shot through the French doors. And I told him, I said, that, my dear husband, was a shadow person. Welcome to my world. He says, I never want to see it again.
Was it defined like a person, but just dark?
Yeah,
Or
he
was it
said
just
it.
outline?
Yeah, well, what he saw was like a black shadow person,
Mm-hmm.
and what I saw was the actual shadow person. And he's like, I never want to see that again. Like, fine, you don't have to.
And we have entities in our building. It's from the 50s or 60s, and when you're in there by yourself, you'll hear typing. And I was the first one to ever experience it. And then so when I walk in the first thing in the morning, I'm immediately looking for a wisp of something in the back of the room. I'm like, don't do this today. I kind of want to see it, but I kind of don't.
Yeah, like, should I or shouldn't I?
I told my boss, wouldn't it be cool if work was haunted? As long as it didn't go home with you.
Right, and they
It's like
can do
random.
that if they feel like it, but
That's
most
the
of them
worst.
don't bother.
That'd be the crux of it. I don't want them to go home with me.
Yeah, just like a demon, they follow you home like a puppy dog.
Yeah, they enjoy it.
They enjoy it.
I'm so sick in
Tremendously.
some ways when I think about it. But okay, let's talk about the animal communications, because that's the part. It was a very interesting part of the biography. But and so you like the communicating with spirits and angels. You did that when you were younger, when you were a child. Started
Yeah,
noticing it.
yeah. My grandmother raised me for the first 5 years of my life, almost 6 years of my life. My mother dumped me off on her, and she was a psychic medium. And she noticed right away, because she had a farm, she noticed right away that the animals would come and sit under my crib. 24/7, they would come there and sit under my crib. And they would be listening, they'd be cocking their heads and stuff like they were listening. And my grandmother noted that, they could hear me and I could hear them. And this, as I grew, it got stronger and stronger. And I would go outside. My grandmother would set me out on a blanket outside in the farm, and the animals would all come over and talk to me, and they wouldn't leave me until I went to sleep. Then they would go. But so as I grew older, I noticed I could hear them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, I have friends that are animal communicators, and they'll get like feelings or a word here or there or a picture, an image of some kind. But I hear full on conversations like I'm talking to you. Once they get over the initial being startled about being able to understand me, and vice versa, then they're like, oh, okay, this is what's going on, and I don't like this, and I want that, and I'm hurting here, or I'm hurting there. And I relay the message. And they're like, I had a client that came to me and said, I need you to come out to my house to, I have a dog, I have 3 dogs, but I have one that's become aggressive with my wife. And so I went to his house, and then actually had 5 dogs. So I get there, and the one that's being aggressive is like, I'm talking to him, and I'm like, okay. So I told him, I said, you just moved here, right? And he's like, yeah. And I said, it's your wife. Your wife is the problem. I said, she's got a lot of anxiety. She's unstable. She's fearful. I said, and this dog wants to make her stop being that way. So if it was another dog, the dog would nip at it and say, and make it straighten out. Like, straighten out, don't be doing that, right? And, but because she wasn't a dog, this is the only way he knew to get her attention, to change her way of being. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't working, needless to say. But after that, he didn't have any problems.
That's interesting. So when they talk, is it like a mind speak?
Yeah, it's all done telepathically. Yeah,
okay.
Just like when I talk to a demon or a ghost, it's all telepathic. The heavenly realm, sees verbal communication as the lower form of communication. Telepathy is the preferred mode of speaking.
I was assuming that. In my stupid brain, I was thinking you talk to like when they have a voice, do they talking like a cow talks with a moo? But of course, if it's mind speaking. Okay, it has to be it has to be similar to the way like the Sasquatch talk to people. Probably the same.
Yeah,
Probably the
I
same vein.
encountered one up in Trout Lake, Washington. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it's like, it's like, okay, you don't want any of us around, okay? And you don't want to talk to anybody, okay? All right, move on.
Shortwave was testing me to see if we were live or not. We're live, man. We're
Are you there? Are you live?
blink twice. Yes, we're live. It's me. It's October 13th at 7:30 p.m. But yeah, so I was going to ask if Sasquatch are interdimensional, but I'm not getting into that. I'm going to talk more about the animal thing. Like, so the animals gathered up under your crib when you were little. Was it like dogs and cats or?
Yeah, it was dogs,
Yeah.
cats, geese, mice, you name it. They were
Nice.
all there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So it's like every animal then.
Yeah. Bugs. Oh God, I hate bugs. They do not. Now I know. When I was little, I'm like, why don't you listen to me? And then as you get older, you realize, oh, that's where the saying attention span of a gnat comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Because bugs do not listen to you because they don't have any attention span whatsoever, which drives me insane.
Does them being able to communicate with you have anything to do with their cognitive abilities? Like you say in that, like them having small brains and kind of just really short waves?
No, I can communicate with anything. It's just
Okay.
you'd have to if it's a bug like a spider or a fly or something like that. It's like before you even get the thought out, they're moving on to the next thing. They have no attention span.
I would think a spider would be intelligent.
Depends on if they're stupid enough to come in my house.
Depends on the spider.
Yeah. I tell them, you come in my house, you die.
Do animals like that? Do they have opinions on that kind of thing? Like,
yeah,
they know that we don't like them.
Yeah, they do. They know by the energy. Every animal, even a bug, can feel the energy. Mm-hmm. It's all about the energy. It's like I've had people say, "Oh, animals don't grieve." I'm like, I raised cattle for a long time. I had an older cow, and her baby was born dead. And she grieved for a good 6 months. And told people, you're stupid if you think they don't grieve or they don't have emotions. They do, absolutely, 100%.
My mom always told me the story about a horse that cried when it had a stillborn when she was growing up.
Yeah, they do. It's their baby. They lose it.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine how that affects them in the wild when something like that happens. Like when a leopard gets a gazelle baby. Like
it's not just suck it up and move on, but they grieve. They grieve like any mother.
So do animals understand our voice? I guess
they don't understand the words, but they understand the tone of the voice. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, telepathically they understand you, but that's a different ball game.
Yeah, it's different. If you don't have abilities like mine, they can tell by the inflections in your voice, whether you're mad, whether you're happy, whether you're having an issue, whatever.
And if you say the same word in the same tone and something happens over a period of time, that's how they start understanding you. Like,
they start.
You want to go potty?
Yeah, right. Or food. Yeah, you're allowed to buy pit bulls food, and they come running.
I used to sing the whenever they did the "Come On Down" on Bob Barker.
Oh
yeah. I used to sing that song before I would get the treat bucket, and I would just throw treats. And I would just start singing that song, and they would anytime I started doing that, it was like they knew exactly what that meant.
Right, treats coming.
Get on your feet. This is happening.
Right, this
is a code red.
Like when my dogs cross, it's like my Dobermans that I had for years. Mm-hmm. Now the old man, I call him JT, stood for just trouble. He was a gladiator Dobie, 200 pounds, 6 foot from nose to tail.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and he was the gentlest soul you ever wanted to meet. Mm-hmm. But he looked at me one morning. He said, "Mom, I'm going." He says, I don't want to stay here anymore. He says, everything's starting to hurt. So I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. I said, go ahead and go, And he was gone by the morning. they're actively dying, and you see the soul leave.
Yeah, big dogs like that. It's a shame they don't last as long.
He actually lived to be 12 years old, which is unusual.
Oh yeah, well, that's good for that size then.
Yeah, yeah,
Usually you get about a decade out of a dog that big.
yeah, yeah. He was 12, and so was his partner, Boo Boo. I called her. Her name was Fatal Beauty, and she was a bitch. Doberman, it's like
Literally.
yeah. But when my son was born, I thought I'd have issues with her, but my son could crawl all over her and pull her ears and everything, and she loved it. She just ate it up.
Mm-hmm. I can tell. You know what I've always wondered? Nothing to do with pets, but what do chickens think of us robbing their eggs? Like,
they don't like it. I had chickens for years. My last one died a couple of years ago, and she's like, "That's mine." I'm like, "You don't have a dude. It's not good. There's not going to be no babies."
Because I grew up on a farm too, and I had chickens. I always wondered what they thought about it every day. Like, just lay that. Come back.
Exactly. Get out of here. Leave it alone.
I bet it's like a mild inconvenience to them, but they kind of reset every time anyway.
Yeah, it's like, I got to start all over again. Yeah.
I wonder what, like, inside of this is more scientific now, but like the instinct, what that feels like to them to do something. Kind of like a cow's instinct to lay down when it rains, or,
It feels kind of like, the only way I can equate it is have you ever had dry heaves?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's
you don't know.
You can't help yourself, but
yeah,
it's going to happen. That's kind of how it feels for them.
As you think about like animals that do things instinctively, they're like, I wonder what that's like. Like, I'm just doing this. This is what I do now.
Yeah, it's built in. It's just built in, like, unfortunately, like my pit bull getting a hold of a wild rabbit. It's like, it's instinct. There's nothing I can do about it except for turn on the light and warn the rabbits. Get out quickly.
Yes, Shortwave. She's a psychic medium that communicates with animals periodically. You can check out the bio in the description, but it's pretty neat.
Every day,
Very
actually, with
every day
with 2 pit bulls and a Springer.
I say periodically. It's happening right now. Shut up.
And they're in the other room. It's like, okay, be quiet.
That's there's so many, no pun intended, rabbit holes you can go down with just how animals feel about things, and what they think's going on when something happens. Like, what's the cow think about the fact that we eat them, and then pig think, because pigs are really smart. Pigs are like people.
Yeah, they do. But the thing is, they know their function in that lifetime, and it's like when we die and we go to the other side, we make the decision, I'm going to come back on the 12th of July in 2024, and I'm going to be a boy, and I'm going to be a great composer, and I'm going to die 80 years later, right? Okay, this is the contract that is set out. This is what's going to happen in this lifetime. Everything in between those times is all about free will. So we know that this is what we've come to do. We've come to be a musician, or we've come to be a doctor. We know that is our goal in this lifetime. But for a cow or something like that, they can be, their goal in this lifetime can be, to be a provider of milk, or to have babies, or to end up as food. But animals are kind of lucky in the way that they don't have all the baggage we have. So when they cross, it's like, I'm out of here. See ya.
Yeah, they really don't have a, like, they don't have like a will. They don't have.
Yeah, they don't have all the hang-ups we have either.
They don't have regrets. They're just animals.
Yeah.
I got jealous of a crane today. It's like, you're just out there in the woods. I mean, out there in the water doing nothing. Here I am worried about work tomorrow.
Yeah, and they're just floating by.
I was like, I wish I was that crane. He was just sitting there looking at a fish.
Yeah,
like, man, if I was looking at a fish right now, I would be hog heaven with his little hackles up on the back of his head.
Yeah. Dinner. There comes dinner floating down the stream.
I was driving by the waterfowl refuge. See, Shortwave wants to know if you could tell him about his dog Molly, the greatest dog who have lived. Bold statements, shortwave, but yeah.
Yeah, send me a
Birthday.
picture, and I'll let you know what he's saying, she's saying, and what she wants to tell you.
Yep. The links to her contact information are in the description. There's several.
I'll do it. I do it for Cat Hobson.
There's another show I help out with that had a similar person with that same skill set on, and told the host that the cat wanted marijuana or something. Like her bones hurt. I'm like, what are we doing?
Doesn't everybody's bones hurt?
It was something like, it used to be a drug dog, and it wanted marijuana because it's been a while since he's had it.
Oh, jeez.
He used to be because he was an EMT, and he got it from like a retired working dog.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, is this really happening? Can you score some weed there, Glenn? Dog defined the phrase "strike while the iron's hot."
There you go.
Let's see. Well, what else? We had a couple questions up here. Animals understand your voice. You answered that. I just wonder what it'd be like to tell a cow, just like, do you know how delicious you are? I'm just weird enough to say.
Yeah, no, see, I never say that. I always respected them, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody asked how I got into this field. I've always been interested in paranormal, especially Bigfoot and stuff. And I wanted to start a podcast, and the only people that would answer my guest request were paranormal people because they love to talk. And I changed my podcast title to this instead of it was called the Bobby Dizzle Podcast, and the silhouette thing behind me was the logo. I am going to make it when I get an LLC, it's going to be called BDP Media, and so I can have start more shows. A conglomerate. Are you a vegetarian?
No.
Yeah. Staunch no.
Nope.
I don't allow vegetarians on the show.
Although I don't eat a bunch of beef and stuff like that. I don't really eat that much meat. Let's see what else we got here. I mean, we're to the 45-minute mark, so now we're on garbage time. We can just chat about different things. All good, just curious. Thanks. Here we're to the point in the show where I start editing out things. We can just talk and see what's up. But yeah, the just being a psychic and a medium, I think that'd be like a gift to have. But like the stuff that would surprise you while you were like in them just random moments of your day and something appears. I guess you get used to it after a while. Yeah, I was gonna say after I'll be 66 after
40 years.
That way all my life, you know. It's like dealing with demons. I've been dealing with demons for the last, 61 years, 62 years. So it's all, just old hat.
And what you get used to. Have the demons ever tried to kind of squash you or, silence you or?
No. The first one that did paid the price.
That would be, would you do? Send them back?
Death. I don't send them back. I kill them.
That'd be what would worry me about trying to.
Yeah, you send them back and they'll just come back again. So why bother? It's not worth my time and effort.
They go back and what would entail killing a demon? I mean, it just makes them cease to exist.
Oh yeah, and that's I wrote the book, The Dark Side of the Paranormal. It talks about their fears, their weaknesses, and one of their fears is death. Because you or I, we die, we come back again if we want to or not. When they're dead, they cease to exist. Absolutely. Yeah. But I do battle with them in a whole different realm of existence. And when I do, I do it as Ariel, the archangel. Mm-hmm. And because my body was created to hold her soul so that she can do the work in the physical world. But, you just slice through them with a white light sword and they turn into like sand and it spread among the stars.
I was going to ask about what Ariel was to you, your spirit guide or
no, she archangel. I am her. When I went to the other side, died and went to the other side, Michael said, you know, your body was created to hold the soul of Ariel, the archangel, so that she can do the work of removing demons, killing them in the physical world. He said, and you need to understand that. That's why you always know a demon's coming. You always know where they're coming from, what they're doing. And he said that this is why you have to begin the work. And that was back in 86. And I'm like, okay, you know. But when she comes forward, and if I'm a person and she comes forward when I'm doing a removal, people say that they see wings coming out of my shoulders, my eyes turn white, my face changes, and my voice changes. So there are physical manifestations of her. And the demons want to be anywhere but where I am.
Has it ever happened in like a time you didn't know it was going to happen? Like you're just like at work and all of a sudden you're manifesting her?
Yes. If she senses a demon close, we had to have a long conversation about that. Because when I was doing hospital work and she would come forward when there was a demon, it's like, you need to stop that. I said, because, you know, this is where I'm at. And you need to not do that. So we had to have a long conversation about, you know, restrictions.
I would be like, at least give me 5 minutes to go to a bathroom or something.
I had to, you know, if somebody crossed or I had to get rid of a demon or something, you know, I had to go to the dirty laundry room because nobody ever went in there to do,
like Superman.
to do it. Yeah, to do
You're like Clark Kent.
Nobody goes in there, you know. It's like, what the heck? Yeah.
These are the kind of things no one talks about whenever they have these conversations. And my mind is like, well, what the hell happens if she's like driving down the road?
Oh, yeah. Well, that happens because when I was on Ghost Adventures, before that, Jeff Bellinger gave me a call and I was at work on my cell phone. We're in the middle of a conversation and all of a sudden he hears this growling in the phone. And then the phone cuts. And then he calls me back and he says, what was that? I said, oh, just a demon. Pray continue. Don't worry about it. It's common.
I'll get it later.
Yeah. Or I'd be, you know, driving down the road and they come through on the radio in my car. And like, yeah, okay, fine.
Start talking.
Yeah. You can't help, you know, I get one. You can't help them. You'll never be able to help them, blah, blah, blah. You know, and calling me everything but a white woman. And I'm like, looking at her, I'm looking at her, I'm like, fight me. Just fight me.
I wasn't ready for that.
They have no power over me. So, and that really, really, really frustrates them.
I bet it does. I hear they got a mouth on them.
Oh yeah. They got a mouth. Oh, yeah.
I know a lady that kind of has a similar track record as you that kicked one out of a hotel in Kentucky. And then she was a truck driver and she came back through and it like caught her on the interstate. Told her she was going to die tonight. And she immediately pulled the truck over. She thought you were done with me. So she went back to the hotel and sent him on his way. Yeah,
a lot of people can kick them out of a location, but only archangels can kill them.
So yeah, killing a demon's kind of like that when you put a file in trash and then you empty the trash bin, can't come back from that.
Yep.
June would like to know, how do you know if you did the merge with your angel correctly, and what are the types of warrior angels?
If you do it correctly, you should be able to feel. Well, we'll explain what a merge is. There are warrior angels that are reborn into the physical world right now. There are over 300,000 of them.
300,000.
Yeah, in physical form, and they've been activated. They started being activated like 4 years ago. And in order to merge, there is the soul consciousness and there is the physical consciousness. And you have to merge the soul consciousness with the physical consciousness. They merge, but yet remain separate. So that, like if you do it correctly, you should be able to hear your angel, even if it's just a word here and there, or you can get like a feeling but you should be able to hear them in your head. Like when you talk in your head, you hear yourself, you hear your own voice. But when your angel's on board and they're merged, you hear their voice as well. And it's unmistakable. And there are different types of warrior angels. There are healers, there's facilitators, there are warrior angels. And then there are communicators. There are all different kinds of them. There's several different kinds of warrior angels. Each warrior angel has its own specialty.
300,000 though. Wow.
Yeah, there's over 3 billion of them in the world today, walking in spirit form.
Like, do they know they're warrior angels in physical form? Or?
Most of them come to find out, but for a long time, it's very uncommon for an angel to be born and know exactly who and what they are. With me, I was born knowing what I am because of Ariel. But 99.9% of the warrior angels come to find out who and what they are later. But they all have gifts of one type or another, and eventually it will be revealed who and what they are. A lot of them, if you're a warrior angel, you're going to be drawn to people who also have angelic energy. And that's why I end up with, over 3,000 of them in the last 3 years, coming to me and saying, what am I? What's my specialty? What's my name? Because the warrior angel only gives their name once because it's power.
Interesting. I've kind of struck a chord with me because I keep wondering if I'm a witch or something. Like, I wonder I feel like I've got some kind of special tie-in with the other side or whatever because of the...
you have a warrior angel within you.
Somewhere, yeah. You can just feel it. Something's different.
You have a warrior angel, and he's a communicator. He's all about communication.
That would definitely check out.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the last one? I was going to ask you about your near-death experience, if you got time, how that went down, if it's something you talk about.
Yeah, I was on my motorcycle having a good time. And a woman ran a red light. I was making a left turn, a woman ran a red light and hit me on my bike. I was not wearing a helmet. At that time, we didn't have to. They weren't mandatory. So she hit me so hard it embedded the foot brake into the engine housing.
Oh my gosh.
I ended up across the road, and I was clinically dead for almost 3 minutes. And there's a police officer had seen the accident. He was a few cars back. The woman had run the red light. And so he was trying to get me back, but I was on the other side, and my grandparents were there. And Michael said, "You're here because you need to understand what you need to be doing, who and what you are." And he touched my forehead, and suddenly I didn't look like me anymore. I was 7 feet tall, had a 12-foot wingspan, and he said, "Behold, this is who you truly are." He said, "You are Ariel, the archangel, a demon slayer, and an elite member of the Legion of Light, which are the demon slayers that train the warrior angels. He says, your mission in this lifetime is as it always has been, to kill demons, to help humanity." And he says, "You have to go back." He said, "Within a year, you will have a child, a son." And I'm like, okay. So I had just started dating, my husband. That's my husband. And I went back, and the poor cop, he was so happy to see me open my eyes.
Mm-hmm, I bet.
But I had a fractured skull and a fractured arm and messed up my leather jacket. But other than that.
So it was on the scene you went and came back.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like right there. Okay.
Yeah.
But you had the experiences before that, like since you were 4.
Yeah, I died as a baby and came back. So it wasn't the first time.
So this was like tying it all together. You're like, oh, that's what this is all about.
Okay, so Ariel, and she's like, humans, they're a pain.
I can't imagine how frustrated they are.
Yeah, there are 7 archangels in the world today. And and I know where they all are. I've communicated with all of them. But I'm the only demon slayer. The rest have other jobs to do.
That is amazing. Well, it's been about an hour, and this has been an amazing conversation. Do you have anything you want to plug, your websites or your books?
I just released the book, The Dark Encounters, in June. It's the worst of all my encounters. the real life encounters dealing with demons and stuff. I'll be lecturing, giving classes at the Oregon Ghost Conference in March, the third weekend in March. It's at Seaside, Oregon. And I have another book coming out that I'm working on called The Angel Primer.
All right. And sorry.
And my website is mysticconnections.org.
Okay. I was making sure I had that all in the description. Yeah. All the information, Facebook, Pinterest. You got a Pinterest page. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
Any recipes on there? Instagram.
I don't really cook that much.
You got some one ingredient quick weeknight meals for the family on the go.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. Crockpot meals. Yeah.
I got a whole board. I'm 41-year-old male, heterosexual as they come. Got a whole board of crockpot meals. Don't care.
There you go.
Just most of them are just like put two chicken breast, a packet of ranch, and some and like a bag of cheese on it, and let it cook for 12 hours. It just turns into this mush.
Oh yeah, gross. Yeah.
Crackpot. What's it called? Crack chicken, where it's buffalo chicken dip.
Oh yuck. Yeah.
I do make this stuff called egg roll in a bowl. It's just cabbage, and it tastes like you're eating Chinese food.
Oh, okay.
And oh man, I can destroy it. It doesn't have any processed food in it or carbs. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, it has been fun, June, and wish you the best of luck, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching. Yeah, I needed this tonight. Everybody in my house has been sick, and that's the reason it took me so long to get the information. Usually I'm Johnny on the spot. Like I'll send the link to it the day I send the confirmation. And it was like Saturday. I'm like, holy crap, I'm so late. I've taken like everybody's weight and Tylenol this week, just trying to get the fever down. But here we are. And I think we're all good, and just a bunch of hacking and coughing. Thanks, Angie, for watching. Thanks, Joe, for watching. Shortwave. Had a little active crowd. Small crowd, but a lively one. I was worried. Sometimes the algorithm don't hit me until about an hour in, and I'm ready to end the conversation, and 100 people join. I'm like, well, crap. I guess I'm going over time. Anyway. All right. Thanks again, June. We're going to go ahead and end it, and see everyone next week. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never gave it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.